Today I will speak about one of the most important hard rock bands in all rock history, and I'm speaking about Guns N' Roses. First of all, I have to say that this is one of the bands that they are beloved not only by rock fans or hard rock fans, also by glam metal or hair metal fans, but also they are very beloved from punkers and also from metalheads. And they are so known to the mainstream music. Yes. For many years, people they said that this was or there was the most dangerous band in the world. And maybe this is true together with bands as Motley Crue, together with bands as Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith a little bit before, or Rolling Stones. Yes, they were some of the bands that took the whole thing of sex, drugs, and rock and rolls to the most extreme limits of the sense of the word. Now, Guns N' Roses, they started in 1984, 1985, Los Angeles, California, of course. The very beginning was in 1984 when Izzy Stradlin, he was living together from Hollywood Rose, from the band Hollywood Rose of Axl Rose. He was living together as a mate together with Tracii Guns, also his Jewish Tracii Guns, of the band Los Angeles Guns, LA Guns. And they decided to make a band together. Izzy Stradlin brought the singer of Hollywood Rose, Axl Rose, to the band. And Tracii Guns, he brought Rob Gardner and Ole Betts from Los Angeles Guns. And the first names that they thought to call the band was Heads of Amazon, afterwards AIDS, but they decided to go to Guns N' Roses, to the name Guns N' Roses. That is the compilation between the names of the bands Hollywood Rose and Los Angeles Guns. Not only that, but also in the first show of the band, in 26 March of 1985, they promote themselves like that. Los Angeles Guns and Hollywood Rose presents Guns N' Roses. After this show, bands went down from the band and they brought Duff McKagan from the town of Seattle. A little bit afterwards, also Tracii Guns left the band and Slash from Hollywood Rose came to his place. So afterwards, also Gardner left the band and Steven Adler, another Jewish brother, he came also from Hollywood Rose. So we can see that in a small period of time, all of the members of Los Angeles Guns went out, and members from Hollywood Rose came in. Now, they decided to make their first EP in 1986 by the name Live Like a Suicide, but this was not a really live album. It was overdubbed with crowd noise. And there they played 4 songs, one more punk song by the name Reckless Life, one more classical rock song by the name Move to the City. Okay. One of their first producers that he wanted to be producer of the band, but it did not succeed, was Paul Stanley, also another Jew from Kiss. Okay. And in these years, the record company of David Geffen, another also Jew, came and they took them in 1986. There are some people that are saying that he was also David Geffen. They had a friendship, I'm not sure about this, with the Jewish father of Slash. The name of Slash is Saul. that and for this reason maybe David Geffen took Guns N' Roses, but this is not only the if this is real, this is not, of course, not the reason, because Guns N' Roses, they were a very great band, but David Geffen, he made a record company by the name Uzi Suicide Records only to promote Guns N' Roses, and he succeeded very well to this. Also, David Geffen, he was the man that he took MTV and said to them to put the song Welcome to the Jungle as a single many times to prime time, and it was also a very big successful movement for the band. 1988, they made a small album by the name Guns N' Roses Lies. That it was the EP before of their 4 songs of Live Like a Suicide, together with another 4 acoustic songs, and there was a big controversy about the song One in a Million, because many people came out against Axl Rose because of his words that he called him racist and homophobic. From this period, we can see that Guns N' Roses, they became a band with many successful music, but from other hand, with many big problems. Problems of Axl Rose, also with drugs and also with fights. Problems of Slash and other members like Alder with the drugs. Many problems, unfortunately. For example, there were many riots in their shows. The most famous riots were in Montreal of Canada, when they played together with Metallica many years afterwards. James Hetfield, he had an accident with pyrotechnica there, and he had to when the Metallica they couldn't continue the show. Guns N' Roses came afterwards, and Axl Rose, after 2-3 songs, he went out, and because of this reason there were many riots in Montreal. Now, in 1990 they brought the keyboardist Dizzy Reed as their 6th member, and in 1991 they made one of the most important movements for the band, when they made 2 studio albums, like a double album, but they made them separately by the name Use Your Illusion. Use Your Illusion Part 1 and Use Your Illusion Part 2 in 1991. And after these 2 albums, the success of the band was so great, so great. Izzy Stradlin, unfortunately, he left the band in 1991, and Gilby Clarke came to his place. Afterwards, we can see that in 1995 also Gilby Clarke left, and these years they thought also to brought Zakk Wylde from Black Label Society before of Ozzy Osbourne to the band, but it did not succeed. And in 1995, Axl Rose took the name of the band for him. In 1997, Slash left the band, and a little bit afterwards also Mac Kagan left the band. So from 1998, the band became like something else, but it became the band of Axl Rose. And Axl Rose from these years spoke that he is ready to make a new studio album by the name Chinese Democracy. But this album didn't came for many years. In the meanwhile, Slash with his band Snake Pit with his album It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere, many people said that the songs of this album it was to be inside the 6th album of Guns N' Roses. In any case, the other members, they made another band by the name Velvet Revolver with the singer of Stone Temple Pilots. And they made 2 albums. The first album is here, Contraband, and the second album, Liberdad. But also afterwards they dismissed. Okay, now it took for many years to Axl Rose to make this new album, Chinese Democracy. Only in 2008, with other members, he came. The album Chinese Democracy was made. For many people, this was a big mistake of Axl Rose. But in any case, the album is Chinese Democracy is a not bad album. But in the day that it took so many years for this album, and it was not the original lineup of the band. Because of these reasons, the album it didn't become a success as the albums before. And in 2012, first time most of the members became together for a reunion to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And in 2015, they made the reunion and came out with a tour by the name Not in This Lifetime. Until now, they continue as a live band. We don't know if in the future they will make a new studio album. So here I will try, in any case, to rank their albums from worst to best. They don't have a really worst album. Let's be real. By my personal taste. So let's start. In the 6th place, I will put their second album of 1988 by the name Guns N' Roses Lies. Also, I said this is the first EP, Live Like a Suicide, together with another 4 albums. In the 5th place, the album of 1993, their last album for many years, their 5th album, The Spaghetti Incident. Also, this is not a really studio album. This is an album of covers of songs of punk bands like the Stooges, the Sex Pistols, the Misfits, but also from glam rock bands as the New York Dolls, or the band Nazareth here. A nice album. Also here, they had another story, another controversial story, because here is a hidden track of a song by the name Look at Your Game Girl, that it was written by Charles Manson, the murderer, the mass murderer. Now, in the 4th place, their last album until now of 2008, their 6th album, Chinese Democracy. A nice album, but with not the original lineup except Axl Rose. Here we have some great songs like Catching the Rye, Madagascar, Prostitute, Better. A nice album. Now, 3rd place, the album Use Your Illusion Part 2. A great album of 1991. A great album with great songs as Civil War, Knocking on Heaven's Door, a cover of Bob Dylan, another Jewish brother, Shotgun Blues, Pretty Tight Up, Locomotive, So Fine, You Could Be Mine. I like this song, most of this album. Don't Cry, the second version of the song, great album. But in the 2nd place, Use Your Illusion Part 1, because here, except of Dust and Bones and Don't Cry and Bad Obsession or Back of Beats, November Rain, of course, we have here, and Dead Horse, we have here the song Coma. And for me, this is the greatest Guns N' Roses song of all time. But last but not least, in their 1st place, their debut first album of 1987, Appetite for Destruction. Here, in the beginning, they had another cover art, also controversial cover art, and afterwards they came with this cover art. Great songs. Welcome to the Jungle, It's So Easy, Night Rain, Mr. Brownstone, Paradise City, My Michelle, Sweet Child O' Mine, You're Crazy, Rocket Queen. Most of the songs here are so great and so famous. This is about Guns N' Roses, so from Israel, from Jerusalem. Stay metal and stay heavy.